also on the broadcast with us is a panel of experts. Joining us now, Major Mohammad Ali Shah. Mohammad Ali Shah, your reaction to this? Nations who voted in favor of the resolution have now come out with a statement. They said that they will take the matter to the General Assembly now, where the veto does not apply. Over to you.
People have their own right to vote in favor or against or whatever, but at the end of the day, the good will prevail, and I'm sure whoever votes against, the consensus would be towards whoever makes sense. It's common sense where it happens everywhere. So the same thing is going to happen in this case as well.
Okay.
Adopted sanctions package, which was agreed last night by the leaders of the member states. You know that the European Council provides political guidance in order for the Council of the Foreign Affairs Ministers of the European states approve formally and put that into actions. We have listed today President Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov. This is the final outcome of the discussion, which was not finished yesterday at the European Council and has been decided today by the ambassadors and the ministers on the intense discussion that we have been taking place during this morning. So President Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov are in the list of sanctioned people, together with the remaining members, the Duma, who are supporting this aggression, and also with relevant members of the Russian Security Council.
All right, Major Shah, sorry for that interruption a bit earlier, but your reactions to this, because these sanctions don't seem to matter to President Putin right now. Can they impact anything happening on the ground?
Well, they can impact, yes, a lot of things happening on the ground, but let me tell you, it's not that Russia was not aware that sanctions would be laid upon them and such things would happen. They are very well aware and very well prepared. In fact, these kind of the more sanctions you lay on Russia, the better it works for China. Because at the end of the day, Russia is going to do all the transaction, all the trading, all the dealings through China. And China is their friend. And Pakistan has proved itself by Imran Khan landing up there. And in fact, this meeting itself, I would say it is backfired on Imran Khan for a lot of ways. It will, China had asked them earlier, a couple of months back, to pay a compensation for engineers who are working in a canal whose lives were lost. And now Russia is going to also ask Pakistan, Pakistan is going to be trapped. Now when we talk about these sanctions, let me tell you, it will not make any difference to Russia, to Vladimir Putin for any of the sanctions, because all that US is doing is, okay, we'll impose more sanctions. Japan came in and put sanction on visas on the two newly identified state of Donbass area. UK had applied sanctions, the European states would put in sanctions, but he will go unaffected by these sanctions. We should all know that, and in fact, even US knows that they will not, but US has to show their bit of empathy, fake empathy or whatever you may say, for namesake or for formality. They have to do that, because at the end of the day, US left Ukraine high and dry. It is like you telling a neighbor, go and mess with my neighbor, I am there to back you up, don't worry. And you go and mess with that person, with that enemy, and the neighbor backs out. And now the neighbor has to stand with you in solidarity and say that, oh, okay, I will not allow him to come to my house. I will not allow him to park his vehicle over here. The same analogy I've given over here by giving the US, and in fact, I think it was very, very silly on the leadership of Ukrainian government to first get carried away by what the third party, what US was telling them, because they are now going to pay for it, and no one is there to bail them out. So it's like, again, if I'm a young officer in the army and I'm leading a platoon of, I'm a 21-year-old lieutenant in the army and I'm leading a platoon, and if I fear that, okay, we are going through a danger zone, then my men behind me will also shiver in the boots. But if I maintain my calm, and that is exactly what the leadership of Ukraine, I feel sorry for people of Ukraine, I feel sorry for my brethren stuck over there, but Vladimir Putin, who was an actor, a comedian, his job was to make people laugh, and I am really, I don't know what to say. I am quite angst about it that, how can a leadership, and if you think, if you put your common sense together, there's something I was discussing with Colonel Jha, with Group Captain V.N. Jha as well yesterday, that, sir, tell me one thing, and same thing I would like to tell everyone. It's basic common sense that, see, air routes are all blocked. No one can go there. How come 2 days back, only one country's aircraft, one foreign country's aircraft was there, which was actually Turkey. And if you see, Tayyip Erdogan had a word with Vladimir Putin. He had also had a word with Zelensky. Now, having said that, we also saw Zelensky had left Ukraine. Probably he was in Germany and he left in a Turkish plane. Now, was it an understanding? Was it pre-decided that, okay, when Russia comes to attack Ukraine, the president will fly out safe and sound? What happened in Afghanistan? Afghanistan, again, the president flew out of the country. Whereas in 1996, 97, late 90s, when Taliban was on the rise, at that time, their head of the state, the president, was hung on a lamppost in Afghanistan. Now, that is the fate. If a leader takes the credit for things that are going to happen, the team does, leaders should also be ready to actually face the big bats.
Okay, we showed visuals of those long lines of cars trying to exit the national capital of Kyiv into other European countries, but now we are given to understand that highways have been captured and civilians are now not being allowed to exit. Major Shah, tactically, if you could help us understand what next for Ukrainian military, because it seems like, unfortunately, it's just a matter of hours that the Russian forces will get to Kyiv.
Well, the intentions of Russian President Vladimir Putin is very clear to everyone. In fact, his intention, though there has been collateral damage, there have been buildings which have been destroyed, I agree, I admit. But his intentions seem to be very clear, that he did not want to, actually he didn't intend to harm the civilian population over there or to do a mass murder over there. Very clear and simple. Take over Kyiv, overthrow the president, put a government, it can be a dummy government, a puppet government which would favor Russia, which would not favor US at all from remotely also, and place it there. That seems to be what his intention is now. When people are actually leaving and trying to escape from there, there are air droppings, there are air attacks, there are ballistic missiles being used, there are strategic weapons being used. So it is a dangerous and a very precarious situation for the people stuck in Ukraine at the moment. So, and if they try, and obviously the air routes are all blocked. Now when they try to go by road, there will be traffic snarls, there will be traffic jams, and no route would be safe, because at the end of the day, the air bombing is aimed for a military base. It could also lead to a collateral damage anywhere in the civil areas as well. So this kind of a situation is very tricky at the moment. And now when the president actually leaves and there's martial law imposed in Ukraine, in a way, it would be favorable to Russia in a lot of ways as well, because now Russia it's only a matter of time now, and Russia has said yesterday that if Ukraine lays down its arms, we are ready to talk with them on any negotiating table, which is common sense. If you go, like we had captured 95,000 troops of Pakistan and in Bangladesh in 1971. So if any country lays down the arms, they come on a negotiating table. But I really don't understand what kind of fight Ukraine is actually putting up by not surrendering. They should ideally, there's no shame in surrender, because when there's going to be mass murder happening, it's only prudent and only sensible to avoid that bloodshed and the damage for the countrymen to just come out and surrender. So it's only a matter of time when actually Kyiv falls totally flat and Russia takes over. And Russia, let me tell you, they haven't even used 5% of their might at the moment. By doing a whisker, they actually have taken over Ukraine with so much of ease.
Okay, all right, Major Shah, thank you so much for that. I'd also like to thank our other panelists for joining us for this detailed discussion on what is happening in Ukraine.